Hey guys, Jen here. This is going to be part testimonial and part update for the next video. So I just want to go over like some random things that I've been going over about my life and the environment I live in and the people that I've met and that I know, and just looking at everything with a fresh perspective with no preconceived notions. And you know, a couple of videos back, like I started writing down my history and background, and things aren't really making sense. And when you realize like your whole life is a lie, and that somehow, some way, certain people already have like an idea of who you are, or they know you when you're not a celebrity. I don't know. This whole thing is weird. And I just need to document it because I ran into somebody else online. We were talking about blue apples, and I will tell you what that is in another video or two after this one. But I've talked to other people who have a very similar background to me, and it seems like I don't know if it's like some type of suggestive programming or if it's real. I mean, I'm trying to be cautiously skeptical about certain things, you know, because electronics are easily tampered with. So I don't even know if these people are real people, right? But anyways, it goes to like our last name and the bloodline and all that, and we're told not to argue about those things, but for some reason they're really keen on knowing like everybody's genealogy. And the LDS Church pretty much owns almost all of the DNA testing companies, so it's like everything is connected. And that's what I want to show you. Like, I live in a town an hour and a half away from where I grew up, and I grew up in a suburb right outside of Pittsburgh called North Versailles, which is French. And my dad's family, my surname, my maiden name is French, and Gevaudan. And we went over this before, that it's actually mentioned in the Wolfman movie, and it's a region in France where they had the sightings for the Wolfman, for the beast that attacked women and children. And the Pope, I guess, actually sent people after the beast. But that's where my last name comes from. Kind of how like a blacksmith gets the blacksmith name. I guess that's just where we hail from. That's where we lived back then. So it's all just very weird. But I wanted to show you this. You guys remember, well, some of you will. When I tried to order these, it wouldn't let me order the one. And it said, gave me a red message on Amazon and said, this cannot be delivered to this address. So I went somewhere else and got it, because I was looking up Nephilim and like kind of what their kryptonite was. And I found a verse in here, or a line in here, and you can look it up in Google, talking about lavender and vinegar and iron. But now I'm having a real hard time finding those again, because I wanted to show you guys that. And there's a lot of things in there that might be fiction, might be fact, I don't know. But we're going to look at some of them because it's pertinent. But look at this. The author is E-L-B-E, right? E-L is angel, or God, of God, right? Godly. Elohim, and/or Elion. Now, E-L-Y-O-N, Elon Musk again, okay? But anyways, I'll do a short video on that probably and post it after this. But E-L and then B-E, all right? And these they started to get wrote in 2018. This woman does have a small YouTube channel, but she didn't reply back to the questions I asked her. She's very new agey. There's a lot of talk of Christ in the Bible in here, but he is known as their ascended master or whatever. There's a lot of talk about the Nephilim living in calderas. It gets very bizarre. Anyways, it's wrote like a Fibonacci, so every book has like so many pages in each chapter following the Fibonacci sequence. And she is from about an hour away from me. She's in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm telling you, this place is weird, man. I don't know if I was just raised different than everybody, and like everybody knew these things, and I'm just like being left out. But it's, you know, it's very bizarre and frustrating. So ELBE, right? I got this at the Magic Consignment Shop, and it's called Gold Dust, and it's very old. Has the person's name in it. Gold Dust. And then it tells you what it is. A collection of golden counsels for the sanctification of daily life. But look at the author. Translated and abridged from the French by E.L.E.B. And this one is E.L.B.E. Bizarre, right? And this was many, many years ago. I don't know if... I hate to even handle. I don't like messing with it. Anyways, I'm not going to mess with it. You can look it up. It's like 1918 maybe? Don't quote me though. So, how far apart are these, right? And I found them both. And this lady is from Ohio, and I found this in the little magic consignment shop that always has whatever I'm looking for, oddly enough. I found this there too. Some of you might remember this, but I want to show it to you in case you didn't see it. The consignment shop has different little like squares for different vendors, but it's set up really classy. It's nice. It's not like a flea market or whatever, but it's very organized and whatnot. Each little space is from different people, so you get different things. But I was going through a basket of pictures, and this one right here where the arrow is under, she has my face from like the 10th grade. Now, I don't know if somebody's like really playing with my reality or what is going on, guys. But I'm tired of people telling me that I'm crazy. These are just, there's too many strange coincidences that don't add up. What's very strange is this is from this area, right? Looking about the 1950s. Okay, what is this, first of all? Is it a women's group? There's a few men. I don't know what's going on there, okay? But they used to be a lot closer and neighborly than you see today. But what's really weird is I could name, like this looks like a girl I went to school with. Her name was April. Not exactly, but very, very close. That looks like Shannon, same crowd. Kelly. And a couple of them, this looks like my sister-in-law, sort of. Or no, that looks like a friend of mine. I don't know what to say. Like, that is my face. If I still had my yearbook. I don't know. It's very weird. Okay, now I told you we were going over, like, all this strange background stuff. And I only got to, like, age 10. But this is weird. And I just wanted to... This is for myself, pretty much. Now, I don't share personal things unless I feel like it will edify people's faith. But I'm trying to tell you to... look into the things around you and where they come from and how they originate into symbology, and don't be afraid. You know what I mean? If these are neutral things, right? They're inanimate objects. They are not living and breathing entities. So what you do with knowledge or information, your intent is whether something, you know, works towards the good or towards, you know, the null, the void, basically. So my grandpa's name means wise, protection, and counsel. My other grandpa's name, and I never met either grandpa. His name means noble, well-born, and kin. My grandma's name means God is with us. God has answered. I grew up in North Versailles, and I am French. My partner's number, his favorite number is always 714. And I just realized that was in my address when we met. It was in my dad's phone number, not in that order, but those three numbers together. It's another girl's house number, and I'm not going to get into that. And it's also Bastille Day, which is the French Revolution, the day the French stormed the Bastille. And then his address is the first three of my social. So why am I telling you this? Because all of this adds up. Everything is connected. And then at my grandma's, I remember, I love looking at pictures, and especially because I never got to meet my grandpa. So I would, like, just look at her stuff every time I went over and, like, pick it up, her little knickknacks and whatnot. There's a picture I loved because she looked so happy and she was smiling, trying not to look at the camera. And my grandpa had kind of looked at it, and he looked so much like his oldest son, but he looked like he was a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. And they were walking down the sidewalk, and somebody took their picture. Now, when does that happen? You don't know anyone, especially back then, that would stand on the sidewalk and take people's pictures, you know, black and whites. They allegedly took longer to focus and whatnot, but they had better quality to them. Anyways, only the paparazzi does that, right? Only people that are, I don't know. None of this adds up. Okay, so here's kind of breadcrumbs. I told you when people talk to you, sometimes it's God talking to you, sometimes they're trying to give you clues. And I look back and it's been my whole life. My mom would say, your dad acts like the Javadan family name is royalty. My dad's name means little king. It just doesn't stop. Your dad always wanted you to be a boy. Was that because of some type of lineage type thing? He also told me when he was dying, like, you should have your last name. Like, I should have never took his last name. But isn't that what is done? I don't know. It's also weird. And he used to get upset that my mom didn't spend more time on, like, my appearance. I was kind of a tomboy for a while. And he said, you should be looking like a princess every day. More recently on Facebook, when things started to go downhill, I had posted something with explicit lyrics, but I had, Asterisk did that, and I just liked the girl's talent. I thought she was talented, and this lady said, you're a role model. People look up to you. And after that, I couldn't contact her. I just kind of be like, what do you mean? I'm just some random on Facebook. Then I met this girl I was doing makeup with, and she come over and I was cutting the rings for the beer because, they get in the ocean and stuff. So anyway, I was cutting them, and she started giggling, and I was like, what? She's like, oh, nothing. It's just the little things. Then I was doing a photo shoot with a friend, alleged friend, the one who kind of, again, this is where things got really bad. But my husband said it was okay. We were doing like a semi-boudoir shot or whatever. And my other friend came over to do my makeup, and she was gushing to the girl taking my picture. She's like, I'll just try to stay out of the way. I'm such a fangirl. And I'm like, of who? Like, I don't understand any of this. And I'm not trying to, like, be narcissistic. I just think it's important to document these things because, again, I'm not the only one who, like, started getting things in the mail a few years ago and, people following you, and just, I even heard, back in 2017, right before I went to Florida, we were at the lake and there was this noise, and it was during the day, and I couldn't tell if it was like a cat in heat, like a big cat, right? Like a, outside cat, a wild cat. But it sounded kind of like a woman crying. And now I hear these stories about like skinwalkers and cryptids. Like, things are just very strange. And I just feel like it's important to share when we can, just so we don't feel alone. Because, all of these things, on their own, they're not a big deal. But if you add them all up, okay, so since I come to Ohio, this lady I used to work for made a point of telling me how she wrote letters every month to her husband so he knew how to handle the business in case she passed. Oh, yeah, you should always write a letter. When all this started, my spouse had asked me, why didn't you fill out that book? I got a memory book for the boys, and again, I'm thinking, like, what is he on? And he's like, I had one to write the letters to my sons to apologize, for kind of the family falling apart a few years ago. And he was on, like, did you write the letters yet? And I'm almost like, I don't have any desire to hurt myself. I'm not going to kill myself. But he said that again the other day, why don't you just fulfill your destiny and do yourself in? So I don't know, guys, like, it's just it's getting to be too much, and I'm tired. And I think it's important to share because we shouldn't be doing this to each other. No matter, like, what I did, consequences, are there and present. There's no need to, like, make it worse. But back in the 80s, they said there was, like, satanic panic in this area. And I just have to say, after all the research I've done and the things I've seen the last few years, and how these people kind of all come together and, like, hover around you, but they pretend like they're your friend for, like, years on end. I don't think it is satanic panic. Look into the area. Look into Kirtland, Ohio, and what happened there with the LDS breakaway cult. And look into, like, Cuyahoga State Park. Women have been found there, and people have gone missing there. So, I mean, it's a thing. And I thought he was going to leave me at the river once a few years ago. He insisted we go on Thanksgiving, and his mother gave me a hard time. I'm like, well, he wants to go fishing, and we never do anything, so I guess we'll go. And he kept leaving me, like, just like, and I had to keep, like, I don't know, we were out of town, you know, and it's a pretty big river and it's in the woods, but he kept, like, leaving me alone. And so all these things, you know, the closer we got to, like, 2018, 2019, and now the more time that passes, the stranger people's behavior gets. Like, today it's the warmest day, right, of winter. You know, we're still kind of in winter, and they have the heat jacked up. But when it's freezing cold, they don't turn it on. And I made a point to ask, like, what is going on? Like, why are you doing these things? And then I get nothing, or eyes rolled at me, or they cover their face, like, they don't look at me. I don't know. Like, I'm a human being, and I have a heart. And, you know, the mistakes that I made were totally self-destructive. Like, I wasn't out to hurt anybody intentionally. But what's being done to me is very intentional. And we are supposed to expose evil. I've not given any of the real names out to anybody or in any of these videos. But we are to expose evil. So I'm weary of certain things coming up in my feed again. I don't know if it's behavior modification or if it's bots or AI or what's going on. But, like, I'm not going to submit to somebody who is literally seeking to harm me and has harmed me in the past. It is wise of me to not trust that person. And frankly, I shouldn't still be in this situation, but I didn't have parents or anybody to fall back on. And, you know, people say, oh, do it on your own, do it on your own. Nobody out there has ever done anything on their own. If you move, you get help moving, even if you pay people. But you know, you get a license. Somebody has to let you use their car because you don't have a car yet. Everybody has had this kind of help, except for me. And people pretty much refuse to help me that way. So it's like, I'm also like, I'm not prisoner, but I just wonder if I left, would it be like Truman? Would there be like some, I don't know, you know, something blocking the highway or something made up, like that the highway has to close down? I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to just go over some of that. And again, this is not like, these are real things that are happening to me. And again, other people have been experiencing things too. But anyway, in the next live stream, we're going to look at the digital versions of these and just pick out the verses that deal with Nephilim and vampires in the caldera, because there's some interesting information there. So I hope you guys will check that out. And I'm going to do a short video on Elion. My strange life, right? Please feel free to share your stories. And if you want me to share your testimony, just let me know when you send me the email. A few people have, but they haven't wanted me to actually share their story. So I think they just wanted me to know I'm not alone, which is really cool. But anyways, I'm going to get some sleep. Pray for us if you are the praying kind. And I always pray for you guys. Bye.